Dr. F. Perry Wilson of Yale Medicine is proficient on the subject of COVID-19 and dissecting research surrounding it. In fact, he teaches a free course available to the public that's popular.
We're at like 49,800, so maybe this will put us over the top. Totally free. It's called Understanding Medical Research, Your Facebook Friend is Wrong.
The class is available on the Coursera platform and helps folks learn if information is correct, overhyped, or even being lied about, including whether you can hold your breath to determine if you have COVID.
A lot of infection in coronavirus, people have minimal symptoms or are even asymptomatic. There's nothing really magical about being able to hold your breath.
And how about the popular notion that you can stave off COVID with vitamins? Not true, he says.
I wish it were. Believe me, I'd be taking it if it was, but none of the studies have proven that out.
Dr. Wilson adds that these vaccines do not change your DNA. They do not track you. And he says COVID is not just like the flu.
To put some hard numbers to it, the typical flu season, we lose about 20,000 Americans to flu. Compare that to the 500,000 we've lost so far to coronavirus.
Senator Richard Blumenthal is calling on social media to rid sites of disinformation, including by anti-vaccine groups targeting expectant mothers and those who've miscarried.
This kind of bullying and intimidating has no place in the public square. It is taking advantage of women who are vulnerable.
Dr. Wilson says the COVID pandemic has had such an impact, it's actually reduced our average life expectancy by 1 year. In New Haven, Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.